Hi, everybody. Robert Linkul here with trainingtheolderadult.com, and I'm here with my friend, Dr. Evan Osar. Evan,
How are you? Thanks for
we
having me.
wanted, we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about the Functional Aging Summit coming up, the 6th Annual Functional Aging Summit with FAI, and PreCon that we're going to be hosting on Thursday. June 5th and 6th is the big event. The PreCon is on the 4th, and we're also going to have a couple individual talks. Evan is also one of our keynotes. So we'll be able to see him speak quite a few times. But just to give you a little bit of insight of what we're going to be covering on the PreCon, you'll be able to find this landing page by clicking on the PreCon button up there at the top. You'll see Evan and I, our beautiful bald faces pop up there. Click on the little registration link and you are ready to register. It's $99 for 4 hours of access to us and all this great content we're going to be covering. Basically, it's a joint by joint approach that we're going to be diving into. And these little grids here give you a little bit of an example. This is the hip and the components that we're going to go into. Dr. Eb will go through a lot of the correctives. I'll go through a couple exercises. We'll blow this up in just a second, let you take a look at that. And we're going to do this body part by body part, major components all the way through the body that really emphasize and kind of focus the biggest limitations, the most common injuries or limits and limitations that we see with the older adult. We're going to give you everything that we got on how to deal with those. So first up here, Dr. Ed will give you a little run through on his, and then I'll bring it back.
Awesome. So one of the things we're going to talk about during this 4 hours, and more importantly, workshop, is the corrective exercise strategy that we use with our clients. The same clients that you work with, the older population, clients with joint issues, osteoarthritis, osteopenia, the clients that have scoliosis, things like that, and also hip issues. So we're going to go joint by joint as we discussed. We're going to look at the myofascial release components. We're going to look at three-dimensional breathing and how that relates to core stability and how that also relates to hip issues, and look at the most effective corrective exercise patterns, the patterns that will help set up all the functional progressions that Robert will take you through in the next segment.
A big piece to this is figuring out, what areas we need to focus on, the correctives that will help improve them, and then selecting the proper exercise that's going to help build the strength to secure that corrective exercise pattern now as a regular practice. So a couple of things we're going to follow up to Evan's correctives are a couple of different hinges and movement patterns. We have a different progressive horizontal bridge component we're going to focus on, primarily the one with the feet elevated. We have a couple different skier squat actions we're going to show you to get some big hamstring activation release and the mobility at the hip. A different variation with step ups and some complex compound movements of adding row variations into that. And then a whole hip series on building all those little musculatures around the hip for your pre and post hip surgery, hip replacement, hip injury clients. We're going to have a ton of great content to cover there. And Dr. Eb also has a couple of talks he's going to talk about here. And then I'll bring it back and we'll finish up.
Yes, and then we have a breakout session during the main conference. My session is training clients, strength training with shoulder and neck issues. So again, those clients that have osteoarthritic changes, osteopenia, maybe have chronic neck and shoulder issues, we're gonna look at the problems, like what actually sets up the problems, because when you understand the problem, then you understand the process that will take you through the integrative movement system from assessment to corrective exercise to the functional progressions that we'll use to improve shoulder and neck function. But more importantly, how do you strength train with these clients that have these limitations? And one of the things we'll look at are the 3 best assessments, so that way you feel confident assessing your client, and then also showing them pre and post changes. We'll also look at the 3 best corrective exercises, the ones that we do with our clients in our clinic as well, and then also the 3 best functional progressions, which will tie nicely into the exact same progressions we talk about in our pre-conference.
And a big part of my individual talk will be on addressing individuals that are struggling with or limited by arthritis. One of our big components working with the older populations is that we're going to run into arthritic issues as a roadblock. How can we overcome that and not avoid it, but work with it? And that's going to be the big focus for us here. I'll take you through our blueprint, our movement patterns that we like to do on a regular basis, some of the modifications, the variations, the little changes that we can do to progress or regress our clients based on what they're feeling with the movements, the actions, if they're feeling more pain, more symptomatic, whatnot, learning a little bit about the curve or that 2 to 4 month grace period in there, where we're going to have to kind of introduce to our clients the idea of of working with this arthritic pain, but how we're going to start to overcome and benefit in the long run. So we'll discuss that a bit. Certain exercises, different modifications that we can make to some of these patterns using different pivot points, different handles, angles of attack. We'll showcase all kinds of different pieces for you here. And though you won't need big fancy pieces of equipment, we'll also show you some of the more remedial and some more simplistic versions that we can do this with just base pieces that you're going to find in the gym or that you might already have in your facility. So one more time, just to kind of wrap things up, Thursday, June 4th from 1:30 until 5:30, Dr. Evan and I will be in with this pre-con, diving deep into all the major joints, major limitations, everything we can give you on corrective and complex movements to kind of help build up the client's ability. And then we'll have our individual sessions as well. So Dr. Evan, I'm looking forward to working with you, my man, and having our continued growth of our professional friendship and our personal friendship. I'm absolutely loving this. I love working with you, and I can't wait to be there live, sharing this great information with everybody.
And this is going to be awesome because we're going to be able to combine our information, the integrated movement system, the approach that we use with your approach training the older adults. So the individuals that come to our sessions, you will leave with a blueprint of how to use corrective exercise, your assessments, corrective exercise, as well as how to progress and many different progressions. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you use your progressions with the older adult clientele that you work with.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Evan, I will see you in a couple of weeks, my man. And thank you, everybody. We hope to see you there. Go to functionalagingsummit.com. You'll be able to see the registration links there. Click on registration. You'll find us, and you are ready to roll. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
Have a good one.
Take care.
See ya.